right, thank you. And thank you for everybody that's on the phone. I see the attendee list keeps growing, so that's great. We talked a little bit about myself, but I want to give you some background on what I've been doing in my career. Today is actually my 2-year anniversary at CAI, and where I am the practice director of the DevOps and cloud practice that we have at CAI. In the past, previous 10 years, I was the director of software engineering, where we focused on development operations, DevOps, which we're going to talk about today, release management, resiliency, and cloud infrastructure. And there, led an enterprise agile transformation. We implemented a continuous delivery pipeline for all of our mortgage applications, as well as led the AWS production implementation for mortgage business at Capital One. Previous to that, and actually before Capital One purchased this company, ING Direct, and that's where I was director of application development, and again was in the mortgage space. And we, at a smaller scale, we did an Agile Scrum transformation, which translated, we ended up using that for our enterprise transformation when we joined Capital One. And then led the architecture refactoring to move into a DevOps implementation. We'll learn a little bit about that. And back in the day, I started with a tool called Power Builder. Few people know it. Nowadays, I'm getting kind of older. So Power Builder development is where I started, and second job is the father of 3, and I should update this slide because it's going to be a 4th one coming. So anyway, that keeps me very busy outside of work. All right. All right, DevOps. So let's start with DevOps. And previously I did a webinar that talked about DevOps and a journey, and it was focused primarily on the application development space. And it's one of the ways at one of my previous organizations is where we started the journey for DevOps. But I'm going to have a few slides of the repeat of that, just to level set, and we can discuss what DevOps is and what it's not, because especially being on this consulting side, I've learned in going into a series of different clients and customers that everybody's interpretation of what DevOps is has a different meaning, and we're going to talk about that a lot. And I call it the 3 areas of an IT organization and where to start your transformation. But I like this slide. It really sums up because there's tons of tools that have come into the market, and I like to start with the number 1. It's not a tool. DevOps is not a tool. It's a collaboration, a mindset, and a methodology. And next is the merging of 2 roles, hence DevOps, application development and IT operations working together to achieve a common goal. The objective is the automation of releasing software, and then I highlighted, because it's particular for this webinar, infrastructure. So it's automation of releasing software and infrastructure faster, more frequent, and with higher quality. All right, for years in software life cycles, and it still exists in many companies too, developers complete code, testers tested code, operations built servers and supported releases, each of them complaining about each other, and in a positive way. I mean, the support guy doesn't want his environment touched because his folks will have to get called out of bed if it's not working and there's severity 1 or 2. And app dev just wants to get software out quicker and quicker. So what it leads to, no one's working together. Software releases could take months. This is a big one that in my career I've lived through, where I walked into a company and ING Direct, and we all reported to the CIO, and the head of support. And when I originally sat there, his phone kept ringing all the time while we were in the meetings with the CIO, because we all reported to him that the severities were high. Severity 1 and 2, his phone kept going off. Oh, I got to leave. Sorry, we have a major issue. So he saw me coming into the room, the new guy, and looked at me in a negative way, because I was another person that was coming in that possibly would just push software out the door. And I can say, through the merging of DevOps, 3 years later, we became best friends, and that wasn't because we just got to work together hand in hand, and we moved into this DevOps space, and it really pays off. It's a story I like to share because it's a real life story where we weren't working together, the departments weren't working together when we merged into these team-oriented DevOps, and we'll talk about that more later. It really became one group of people working together to achieve the common goal. All right, and this is a picture of this traditional software factory where you have developments focused on version control, build and test, and there's all the items that go with it, tracking, branching, code, merging, integration, builds, tests, code validation, and the operations team then handled the release management, monitoring, the deployments, the disaster recovery, high availability, and performance. And you'll see at the end of this deck how DevOps and this go together at an organizational picture. So enter DevOps, and I briefly talked about this, but this is where on the left-hand side, originally Dev, and then there was a testing group, and then there's an operation group. Now on the right-hand side, you see all these colorful people. They're all working together from the beginning of requirements, which are stories in Agile, or even they're just early on in the cycle. I don't care if you're doing Agile or not. Well, agility gives you a lot more focus, but this is everybody's involved from the beginning of the puzzle to the end of the puzzle to the support, and these roles become integrated, where it used to be a dev person and then a operations person, a Linux person, then a Unix skill set. These are fungible skills that all merge together. All right, and this is now, you have one picture of the integrated software factory, and they're in this picture showing all doing the same activities continuously over and over again versus a cycle of time. All right, what's the drivers? This is a slide, I'm not going to read everything verbatim, but just what I've just said, the need.
Hi there, hope you enjoyed that last clip. My name is Michael Maludis, and if you'd like to watch the full 60 minutes of that last webcast, while also gaining complete unlimited access to our entire library of IT learning, simply visit our subscribe page at greatpro.org/subscribe. Unlimited annual access is $199 per year, but if you use the coupon code LEARN2EARN, you can drop that membership fee to just $149. That's less than $13 per month for unlimited access to over 1,000 hours of on-demand career development, covering the entire spectrum of IT management best practices, including business analysis and requirements, software development, quality and testing, risk management, process improvement, project management, and even digital transformation. But your membership doesn't just give you unlimited access to our vast learning library. You also get free access to our mobile app, as well as direct access to our network of over 300 of the world's leading IT consultants, all of whom are dedicated to putting practical knowledge at your fingertips so that you can learn more and earn more. I hope you will join me in becoming a member of the Great IT Professional and advancing your career with us. And if you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit that subscribe button above so that you get notified whenever we publish new free webcasts each week of the year. Thank you for your time and best wishes for your continued success.